Hey there, MJ traders and investors. It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Also home to the best MJ community. Today is Saturday, March 23rd. Hope you're doing well. And in this video, we're going to be discussing rapid fire news updates for the period March 16th to the 22nd. If you're not familiar with these new videos, essentially we go over all of the most pertinent information that transpired over the last week. There's a lot, so I can't go over everything, but we try to go over the most important news pieces. And it's not to go into deep dive detail, just a high level overview. So don't have a whole lot of time today, as well as it's been a busy weekend finalizing a new condo purchase, my second Airbnb and my fifth condo in the last couple of years. And also having some friends over for a barbecue. So got to hop to that. But before we jump to the news, make sure to smash like, help support me in the channel, all that good stuff. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, you'll be notified on any future videos, or when I go live. And you can also follow us over on X, formerly Twitter. The handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. Also, Auxly to report fourth quarter and full year 2023 financial results on March 25th, 2024. We know that there was tons of short squeezes last week in Canadian MJ because they're listed on US major exchanges, and lots of bullish news that came out. I've done videos on this. You can check it out. I think it was yesterday. There was a few that I've done in the last couple of days on all of the catalysts that have been happening, but because they're listed on US major exchanges, they're getting the most of the volume. And Auxly is going to be interesting. I'll do a review of their financials because we know they have Imperial Brands. I did a post there. Constellation has Canopy Growth, Altria Group investment in Kronos, British American Tobacco with Organogram, and Imperial Brands with Auxly. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out long term. There's definitely a trend there. It's big alcohol, big tobacco, and Canadian LPs. And if there's any company that can turn it around, in my opinion, it's Auxly. It could potentially get acquired through some sort of merger and acquisition, potentially more consolidation likely needed in the space, but we'll see. If this can even get back to $1 or $2 in the long term, that could be life-changing wealth. So this is a company that I hold in my portfolio, a very small position. And by no means financial advice, not telling you to buy, sell, or hold, but not financial advice either. This is for entertainment purposes only, and my own plans and thoughts and opinions and my own holdings. Also, Curaleaf buying a Canadian MJ operator with eye on global markets. So Northern Green Canada, they scooped up a Canadian operator. I did a video on this as well with all the details. And a couple of days before I made that video, I said that MSOs are going to become LPs and vice versa. And sure enough, a couple of days later, it happened. So this trend is definitely going to continue, in my opinion. If you haven't seen that, you can check it out. Also, TDR, the Dales report initiates coverage on Tilray, and they give it a buy rating and a target of $3.28, which implies a 71% return backed by solid valuation metrics. So a lot of people starting to pay attention to Tilray. It's my biggest holding in my portfolio. If you haven't seen my MJ portfolio for 2024 update with percentage breakdown, you can see my entire holdings with the weighting in my portfolio, and Tilray being my biggest holding. Also, MSO, the Cannabis Co. raises $25.75 million, and that was through senior secured convertible debentures. Moving right along, we have Aurora MJ achieves Australia's TGA GMP certification, setting global standard for quality and compliance, which we know Aurora is definitely focused on the medical side of things now. Also, Rican MJ, subsidiary of Tilray Brands, one of their brands, launches new spring lineup. And you can see here they're going to be having Space Age Cake Flour and Reddy's Hemp pre-rolls. So can't wait to try this out. It's a Girl Scout cookies times Snow Lotus, and all of the new hemp Reddy's are fantastic. So I can't wait to try those out. But looking forward to more flour from Rican. Also, SNDL reported full year and fourth quarter 2023 financial results and operational results. I did a video and a deep dive on this, about 25 minutes. So you can check that video out. They did miss on their estimates, but I go over in depth in a deep dive video on that, so you can refer to that video. Also, High Tide to open third Canna Cabana in Mississauga, Ontario. As we know, Ontario is doubling their store count from 75 to 150, so they got a lot of work there to do. And then as they await Pillar 2 in Germany, which is more than likely going to be in 2025, and really start to ramp up in 2026. And then, as we know, there's positive reform in the US as well, which they said that they definitely have their eyes on. So they got a lot of work to do before that happens. And then the rest of the EU, right? Even more countries could follow suit. Also, Charlotte's Web reports 2023 fourth quarter and year-end financial results, and it continues to see revenue decline. Used to be a darling in the space, and really no one talks about them anymore, but you can check out that report if you feel so inclined. It's not really something I follow at the moment, but I do hold a very, very small, I held a very small position. I can't remember if I still hold my position in my MJ portfolio or not. I think I might have a tiny position in it. Also, MJ ETF shutting down not long after launch. So this was the submersive MJ ETF, and as of March 28th, only a year after launching. So MSOS continues to be the de facto the basically the standard, the gold standard when it comes to ETFs in the space. Moving right along, CV Sciences Inc. to announce year-end and fourth quarter 2023 results on March 28th, 2024 as earnings season continues. And also, the FDA says that MJ has a legitimate medicinal purpose, which we already knew. They're preaching to the choir here, but as a Schedule 1 drug, MJ is currently in the same category as some of the hardest drugs like heroin and LSD, right? So again, this is great to see FDA, HHS all agreeing that it has no business being there on Schedule 1. It's just a matter of time before the DEA reschedule it to Schedule 3, in my opinion. And then ultimately we get to descheduling, but I think we're going to get Schedule 3, then safe banking, then full-blown descheduling, similar to what Germany just did. Also, Canadian MJ sales drop 11.5% from December to January. So a little bit of some bad news there, but nothing to worry about. Like I said, with store cap doubling in Ontario, there should be some improvements to excise taxes as well, and a spring release, and the federal budget coming up on April 16th, which we'll discuss here in a moment, which is going to be very, very bullish for Canadian MJ. Also, Germany recreational MJ legalization bill clears last hurdle, and Curaleaf and other companies rejoice. Cleaf International comments on German federal MJ law, how it passes without delay. So, as of April 1st, this is going to go into effect. Possession, clubs, things like that. It'll be not for profit, and then Pillar 2, which will more than likely be in sometime in 2025, will be for profit and adult use sales. So, lots to be excited about there, but definitely. Probably the biggest news piece of the week last week was that German news, and also very, very big as well. Cannot be overstated how important this is. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen renews support for MJ banking reform, and that also came at the same time that Chuck Schumer circulates a petition for MJ banking bill as pressure builds for vote. So there's a very good chance that this could happen this year as well. Like I said, rescheduling to Schedule 3, I think, then safe banking, then full-blown descheduling in a few years, right? Also, Government of Canada tables final report of the legislative review of the MJ Act, and coming out of that, Canada publishes long-awaited report on MJ Act, recommends tax changes and direct-to-consumer sales for cultivators. So this is huge. We know that they could be switching from a percent tax, flat tax, excise tax to a percentage, and I'm hearing 10%, and that could add tens of millions of dollars to some of these operators' bottom line. So this cannot be overstated as well how big this news is. So this was probably maybe even the second biggest news of the week, but maybe safe banking was Janet Yellen, and then this one. But this is massive. Not a coincidence that we're seeing all this reform in the U.S. with regards to rescheduling Schedule 3, removal of 280E, and then at the same time seeing improvements to excise tax in Canada, which we know the biggest thing hindering the industry is tax on 280E and excise tax on Canadian LPs. So April 16th is the federal budget here in Canada, which we could see some details, so save the date. Also, Nevs Brands, I think that's how you pronounce it. I might be interviewing their CEO. I'm going to have to look in. I'm still looking into their financials and the company. But they reported financial results for fiscal year 2023, increased quarterly revenues by 44%. So like I said, going to be deep diving into this and looking into it. They are behind the Major Drink, so drinkmajor.com, and really interested to see. Can't wait to try these out one day, but like I said, might be getting the CEO on for an interview here in the not too distant future. Also, Desel to sell its retail MJ stores to FICA, and if you remember, Fire and Flower, through the completion of its sale process, sold to FICA MJ as well. So I believe they're based out of Toronto, Ontario, but they're certainly making a name for themselves here and coming up a lot lately. Also, Organigram receives Health Canada's final redetermination on Jolts. So they announced on March 22nd, despite strong evidence supporting its classification as an ingestible extract, it has received a final redetermination from Health Canada that its patented Edison Jolts lozenge products are to be classified as edible MJ. So probably didn't go the way they wanted it to, but it is what it is. But going into there, let me know what you think of this news. It was a busy week, and we're more than likely going to have a busy week ahead as well. So I'll be doing lots of coverage. We'll see if we can continue the momentum into next week. If we get any kind of headline from the DEA, oh man, these stocks are going to absolutely melt faces. We're still waiting for a lot of uptrends to confirm in Canada, but there's no shortage of uptrends in the US, including MSOS ETF confirming a monthly uptrend for the first time in history. So it's looking really, really good. Like I said, got to run, trying to keep this video a little bit shorter today. But hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend. It's Rod with Power Group. Thanks again for joining us in the Pursuit of Wealth, and we'll see you again on the next video.